Hello everyone, Bryson Black Widow Fishing. We're here for round 7 of our mystery tackle box versus our monster bass. So let's get into it. Alright, welcome back. So if you guys recall from last month, mystery tackle box took the lead to 4-2 in the year-long battle that we have going on. For both boxes, I actually gave them a lot of praise for the shipping for last month, as they got here quickly and they both arrived at the same time. Unfortunately, I shot myself in the foot with that one, and everyone that I've talked to has complained about the shipping speed this month. It has been atrocious. It is now the 18th. And I literally just got the mystery tackle box yesterday on the 17th, and I got the monster bass box on the 16th. So with that said, monster bass technically takes the win for shipping speed, or at least gets the 1 point, but I would give that a half a point, to be honest. There is just no reason why we should be getting these boxes this late in the month, especially when they charge us at the beginning of the month. I don't know about you guys, but I get charged on the 1st. I don't see any reason that they don't have their boxes packed, or at least know what they're going to put in there, to be able to get them out. And we pay a pretty decent price for shipping. I do a lot of shipping for my business that I run here out of the house, and I know for a fact that if we're paying $6 or $7 for shipping, it should arrive within 2 to 3 days, especially for the size and weight of this box. It shouldn't take around a week and a half to 2 weeks for that box to get here. So honestly, they truly need to do something, and I don't blame anybody for canceling their subscriptions for either one of these services if they don't improve the shipping. But let's get into unboxing them. First, as always, we're going to start with our mystery tackle box. And before we actually see what's inside the box, I can tell you that this one got beat up pretty bad. I can't really blame mystery tackle box for the way that the box looks once it gets here. That's really going to be on the shipping carriers and how they actually treat their stuff. Recently, I've had a rash of a couple things that have been broken that I have sent out. So again, nothing that I can knock them on. Okay, so before we actually get into the box, you might have seen that the light is a little bit different. I was having some problems with the shadows and the new way that I set up the lights. Didn't really like it, so I made some changes to the way that I have the lighting. So hopefully you guys will be able to see a lot better now. So as we stated, the box is beat up pretty bad, but we are concerned with actually what's inside the box. And so looking at it, it's actually packaged fairly nicely for mystery tackle box standards. If you have watched any of my other videos, which you can find up here if you haven't, you'll understand that comment. So the first thing we have are the Eagle Claw laser sharp hooks. So we can get the autofocus on there. These are going to be the size 4/0, and they are wide gap hooks. Look. I personally don't like to use Eagle Claw. I used Eagle Claw a lot when I was growing up and when I started getting into the professional fishing several years ago. I've had several of these hooks bend, and I think they're cheap run-of-the-mill hooks that you can typically find like at a place like Walmart. Not something that I use, so take that with a grain of salt. That's just my opinion. You guys can use whatever you want. To refresh everybody's memory, my favorite hooks that I use are the spear points. The next we have is the Guggen Squad mini bumper, and this is going to be a 1/4 ounce. It's got a Colorado number 3 and a Colorado number 1 blade, and this is in the chartreuse white. This is a fairly decent spinnerbait. I've got a bunch of these, so I would give this a positive. The next we have is the Fish Labs Hard Bio Gill. It's a 4-incher, and it's 1 ounce, and it has a slow sink. And it's obviously a swim bait. You'll be able to tell when I send you or show you that. And this is more like a bluegill pattern. It doesn't have any label for the color that it is on here. But it does look like kind of like a purplish bluegill, maybe a sunfish or a perch color. If you're not familiar with Fish Labs, they try and create baits that are based upon science and trying to get the fish to strike. I actually don't use a lot of Fish Lab stuff. I just use very minimal pieces from them, and the ones that I do use are fantastic. So I would definitely give this a positive. The next thing that we have is the Arc Elite Z Swimmer. It's a 3/8 ounce swim jig. Kind of see it there. And this is more just like a white color. It's got shades of black in here, but this will do really good. This will do really good, at least out here in California area, swimming this right through some of the grass and some of the algae that will start to pop up here in the next couple weeks. The next we have is the Grand Bass Fishing Lures. This is a 5-inch airtail shad, and they call this the spawn shad. So this is like a white kind of translucent color with black flake. I can tell you that the white colors, or at least maybe not so much the white colors, but the translucent colors work really well right about this time. Fishing them either on a drop shot. This is more a fluke slash kind of soft jerk bait style. So you could technically fish it on a drop shot, but I would probably just put this on some kind of jig head or even weightless and just kind of let it float down to the bottom. But these should do fairly well in this area. The next we have is the Z-Man Hellraiser 5-inch, and it's 5/8 ounce, and it says that this is a chatterbait. I have honestly never seen this bait before, never seen anything that looks like this bait before. This is very interesting looking. Can't tell you how it's gonna work. Bone white is also good around this time, just as long as it's not like bright or brilliant white. Yeah, I'd have to honestly look at this. I don't even know how you would rig this thing up. I've never seen it, but very interesting. The next we have in here is the Fish Ahoy, or the Fish Ahoy. I really don't know how to say that. Lures. It's a hitchhiker craw, and it's 4.5 inches. It does not have a color, but this is definitely like a dark purple. I wouldn't say black blue. This is definitely purple with some red and purple and silver flake inside of here. Let's kind of see if I can separate it to see what the craws actually look like. So they're more of a narrow tail craw, so you could probably fish this like on a Ned rig. The bottom of it is very much rounded, so you could fish this on a Ned rig. You could use that as a jig trailer. Although I just personally think it's a little bit big for a jig trailer that I would use. And the claws aren't that wide. They're a little smaller, or at least a little bit more narrow. So probably like a Ned or a Nico or something of that sort. And then the last bait that we actually have in here is the 8B8 Lab. This is a tournament winning action crankbait. And this is going to be in the, I can't pronounce this word either, but it's some form of shad pattern, and it's 3/4 of an ounce. It's a floating lure, and it also says under it that it's laser perch. I'm not sure which one they would go with, but let's see. There you go. We got the focus on there. It does look like a perch, so I'm assuming that is going to be the color pattern. Even though they have a different name, it might just be the name of the actual crankbait. But we know we love crankbaits, so that's always a win. So other than that, we just have information inside the box. We've got our sticker, which is a mystery tackle box sticker for this month. It's kind of in the red, white, and blue, which I would expect because it's July. What I do appreciate, is that they always give some kind of information about their special bait in the box. So this one is going to be the Hellraiser. So on one side, they tell you about it, and then on the other side, they kind of show you where to fish it. So I am definitely going to need to read this because I don't know how that thing works. So overall for the month, I would say that the mystery tackle box appears to be a fairly good value. There are a couple baits that I haven't used in the box before, which is always a positive for me. The hooks was a little bit of a disappointment. Like I said, I just think that Eagle Claw are cheap hooks, but I am definitely excited about the Fish Lab, the crankbait, as well as this very odd looking Z-Man Hellraiser chatterbait. I think if you purchased the Elite Box, you would come out ahead as far as what you spent, and I think you would get a good value for this month. So they actually put up a fairly strong fight for this month. So let's go ahead and see what the Monsterbass box has in store. And just to remind you, the Monsterbass box did come first, which is very unusual for Monsterbass to ever beat Mystery Tackle box. But as I said, they were both slow. So Monsterbass does already have a point in this battle. Let's open it up. And the box is actually in a lot better shape than the Mystery Tackle box. But as I said, I can't hold the state of the box against Mystery Tackle Box or Monsterbass, just because they're not the ones that do the carrying or the transporting. So let's see how this box is packaged. So it's perfectly nice. That was my fault. But we have the pamphlet on top like we always have. So they did change the name of their subscriptions to the Champion Club's bait subscription. As we know, several months ago, they changed the naming of their boxes, and they went to Platinum, and they actually changed the color of their box. But they are now calling it the Champions Club subscription. I don't know why, but that's what it is. So the first item inside the box is we have the Reaction Strikes XRM 100 MD. This is a jerkbait. This is the American Shad color, and it is 4 inches. It's 0.8 of an ounce, and it dives 6 to 10 feet. So jerkbaits are great this time of year. I love fishing jerkbaits along with the crankbaits, so I think that's a fairly good one. Then we have a Z-Man Chatterbait Elite. This is a normal chatterbait. It has a 5/0 hook. This is a 3/8 ounce, and it's in a black-blue color. So the blade on here is actually black, kind of like what they've been doing recently with a lot of their baits having the black blade. The next is we have a Monsterbass branded Rolo 6. It dives 4 to 6 inches. It's 2.5 inches long, and it's a 1/2 ounce. And this is in the M craw, or as they like to say, the moss craw. So this is basically made to imitate a crawfish that's sitting down in the grass, which could typically be easy pickings for some of these aggressive bass. So crankbaits, always a positive in my box. Next we have the Big Bites Baits Sensation. It's a green pumpkin, and it's a ram tail. There's 6 of them in here. And the color is like there's 6 of them in there. And so these are definitely going to be trailers, and it says they're in scent infused formula. I don't think that these would work well like on a Ned head. The bottom part of the bait's just not shaped very well. This is different packaging from Big Bite Baits. Normally they give you that yellow packaging with the red on here. This is a little bit different color, and the packaging also feels actually a lot better, more premium than their previous one. If anybody knows anything about Big Bite Baits, you can find them always on clearance, so you should never pay full price for them. You can typically, at least in this area, get about a pack of 10 for the price of 2. So they're really good value, especially if you like to use them repetitively and you tear your baits up. Next we have is the Z-Man Elastex Billy Goat Black Blue. It's going to be, the size is 4.5, and this is basically like a soft kind of jerk bait, a swim bait, a soft frog kind of. It's really a mixture in between it all. It's got ribs, but it's also shaped like a swim bait, but it's got like little frog tails, or what you would expect for like a craw trailer. So you can use this a number of different ways, just whatever tickles your fancy. The next bait that we have in here is the Lifted Jigs. It's called the Sup Jig. It's a dark anchovy. Pretty sure I said that right. It's a dark anchovy, and it's 3/8 ounce, and it's got the green kind of head, and then the color is more like that green pumpkin, black and blue mixture there. Kind of see that. And this is chip resistant. It's got that like real thick kind of like military style paint that's supposed to be chip resistant. And I've never heard of this company before, but it feels like a decent jig. What I like about it is that it's a little bit smaller, and yeah, what I like about it is that the actual profile of the jig is a little bit smaller. And just looking inside here, I can tell that the skirt has already like been pre-cut. I don't think it says it on here, but they're definitely different lengths, so that's a positive. And then the last bait that we have in here is the Yozuri 3DB. This is the pencil. It's floating. It's 100 millimeters long, or as we like to say, about 4 inches, and it's 9/16 ounce. You can see that there. The color is black. There's just no way around it that it's black with like a little bit of orange under the bottom side of it. Interesting. I haven't really used too many black top waters other than like frogs, so it'll be interesting to give that a try. And of course we have our golden ticket, or really the orange ticket now. They still call it the golden ticket, and it's once again on that cheap, crappy recycled paper stuff. Which, if that's what you're going to do, by all means do it. And recycling is great for the environment. I just don't want to see it jumping back and forth from month to month. So let's just stick with some consistency. And of course, we have an American flag Monster Bass sticker. It's July. What can we expect? If you are not from the U.S., on July 4th, we had National Go to Work Day if you're the British. Everybody else got off because of Independence Day. And then we've got this fish angler right here. We've got a fish angler information packet. It appears to be a new app that you can use. Let's just go through it. It says, as a Monster Bass customer, you get unlimited access to the world's largest fishing community. And it's got a fishing forecast, it's got fishing intel, and it's got the top bites and baits for your lures there. So this honestly looks kind of like a Fish Labs, not a Fish Lab. So this honestly kind of looks like a Fish Brain. I haven't actually used this app before, but I will download this, I will give it a try, and then I will have another video about this app. Probably within the next couple weeks, so stay on the lookout for that. So for this month, the Monster Bass box was also very good. I do think that you would have got your value for this box as well. There were 4 items in this box that I either thought stood out or I was really excited to give a try, and that was our jerkbait, our crankbait, our chatterbait, and then I wanted to give the, especially excited to give that little jig a try. Right now, you know, it's definitely jig season, and you could use these big monster jigs, but a lot of the strikes that I get right now are on the smaller ones, so it was nice to see that. With that being said, I do believe that the Monster Bass and the Mixery tackle box were pretty much even for this month, but I'm going to have to give the win to the Monster Bass box simply because it got here a day before. And everything was packaged consistently how they always have it. Mystery Tackle Box did do a fantastic job this week, especially on the packaging and some of the inclusions. But as I said, the really only thing that can kind of break the tie is the shipping speed. And we don't believe in ties on this channel. I'm going to let you know which box I think at the end of the year is actually worth getting. But for this month, I don't think you could have gone wrong with either box. So that's it for now. Catch you next time.